Welcome to the Warframe Weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the Braton. Getting the Braton is as simple as it gets, because it's one of the original weapons, so you simply get it for 25,000 credits from the market. The Braton also doesn't have any mastery rank requirement whatsoever, and its damage distribution is pretty well balanced, with slash being a little bit higher than puncture and impact. And aside from that, the crit is pretty mediocre with below average crit multiplier, and the status isn't great either. And finally, the accuracy on the Braton is actually pretty good, but there's quite a bit of screen shake, so if you're fighting enemies at a distance, you should do it with short controlled bursts. Now, investing into the Braton is very much not recommended, because you get it at a point in the game where if you want more performance out of your gun, well, you just build a better gun, so you sort of put on whatever you have on hand, which is most likely going to be some generic damage, a little bit of multi-shot, and maybe some elemental damage as well. You basically want to buff the weapon as much as you can without too much investment, so that you have a little bit of an easier time playing missions and you can max the weapon out to get the mastery from it and progress towards better guns. That's not to say that the Braton is terrible. The Braton is actually very nice. It's sort of like a FAMAS. It's a very sort of generic rifle. It's kind of unique in that respect because most weapons in Warframe are weird in some way, shape or form. So the lack of uniqueness on the Braton Prime is kind of what makes it unique. And most importantly, it will let you know whether or not fully automatic rifles are your thing in Warframe, or if you want to go with a different type of weapon going forward. And if you really like the Braton, you can eventually upgrade into the Braton Prime or the Braton Vandal. But just in case you have more forma than you know what to do with, here is a more advanced setup that you can run on the Braton, which is basically just a hybrid setup that gets a little bit of extra multi-shot from Vigilante armaments. This is actually a surprisingly nice setup that will push through the entire Star Charge and even Fissure and Nightmare missions, and it can even do some low-end sorties. But again, this is not something you necessarily want to do. It is much better for you to simply max it out, put on some random mods, and eventually move on to other better guns. The only reason you would ever really invest anything into the Braton is either for the sake of completion or because you're making a YouTube meme video. But once again, it is not a bad gun. It's a starter weapon, right? You pick it up, you try it out, you have a bit of fun with it, you see whether you like it or not, and then you move on to something else. For me, the Braton is one of the most iconic weapons in Warframe. It's one of the weapons that's been there from the very start, and it still feels really nice to this very day. I actually quite like it. So I am 100% going to recommend you pick the Braton up, especially if you're a newer player, because it's a solid gun that's gonna carry you through the Star Chart, and it will let you know whether or not you like this kind of gun. And that's pretty much it, so I thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.